Okay, in this video we're going to take a look at the OR function. We're going to look at the same gradebook problem, but we're going to look at it from a different direction. When we looked at it using the AND function, we were trying to find out if the student passed, and the rule for passing was homework score has to be greater than or equal to the minimum, and the final test score has to be greater than or equal to the minimum. Both of those have to be true to pass, therefore we have to use the AND function. Now in this case what we're going to do is we're going to look at did the student fail instead of looking at the question of whether the student passed or not. And the student will fail if their homework score is below the minimum or if their final test score is below the minimum. And again, we're going to go up here on the right and we're going to use a little helper column over here. And we're just going to have the value true or false appear there, indicating whether they failed or not. Now, they failed if either one of the following is true. If the homework is less than the minimum homework, and that needs to be absolute, or if the final test is less than the minimum test, and that also needs to be absolute. Okay, click on OK. Now since the question we're asking is did the student fail, true here means that the student failed, and false means that the student passed. So if you remember the way it worked with the AND function, it was exactly the opposite. We had a formula here that gave us true if they passed and false if they failed. Okay, so now we've got logical values over here that tell us whether they passed or failed, and I want to take those and I want to use an if to convert those into p's and f's. So we needed the if function. Now our logical test is this value here. Now if there's a true over there, it means they failed, so we put an F here, and if there's a false over there, it means they passed, so we put the letter P here. And if I tab out of there, again Excel puts the quotation marks around the P and the F for me. Click on OK and go get my fill handle down here and drag it down, and you'll see that George passed and John, Thomas, and James all failed. And again, we can go back here and hide this if we want to. And there we go. And that's how the OR function works. You can have as many as 255 logical tests in an OR function, but again, in real life, if you find yourself using more than about 3, then my guess is you're probably making the problem a little more complicated than it needs to be.